What does it mean to dream of water? Water in dreams signifies your emotions and the state of your emotions at the time. Usually when you have water dreams, it's either to give you a heads up for something that's coming, or it's trying to teach you something about your emotions or your internal state that you need to look at and address. So obviously, stormy, choppy waters, for example, means emotional upheaval. Either you're dealing with an emotional upheaval or one is coming. Calm waters means that you're in a calm, stable, balanced place. You know, if you like the water, if it's not too cold, if it's not hot, you know, if you're not under threat or anything like that, it pretty much means that you're in a calm place in your life. Emotionally and psychologically, you're very calm, because you also have to remember that when you're dealing with water, you're dealing with water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, which means intuition, clairvoyance, the realms of dreams and trauma, and anything to do with emotions, like your thoughts and your feelings, is everything that your thoughts combined with your feelings, like your intuitive thoughts, going with what you feel rather than what you know, because going with what you know would be air sign, because they're thought. But with water signs, they go with what they feel, because they run intuitively, instinctually. That's water. So if there's predators in the water, if the water's fine, like my water dream that I had, like I was just having the best time, and I just felt so much love because of the animals that were swimming with me. So you have to look at everything to do with the water. Was it a river? Was it an ocean? Was the water clean? Was it clear? Could you see to the bottom? Was there anything lurking at the bottom? Were you being attacked or bitten? Anything like that? And it's all to do with either what you're refusing to see, what you're refusing to deal with, what you're refusing to acknowledge in order to heal. So, you know, your conscious mind, your higher self, comes to you when you're asleep, when you have pitch perfect frequency together, your biometrics are running perfectly together. They'll come to you in your dreams, or you will come to yourself in your dreams and say, hey, look, this is about to come up, get ready. Like drowning, for example. If you have a dream that you're drowning and you're going under the water and you know that you're losing your life, it means that you're being prepared to have to deal with something very emotionally taxing or dramatic, that is going to bring the end to a situation. It's going to be the death of the situation. So confront it head on, deal with it, and then that's going to be the end of it, right? So that's what drowning means. And then also, like if you're in the water and you're on a boat, or you're on a rock and you're not getting wet, it means that you're, as long as you're calm about it, and not necessarily that you're stranded or anything like that, but you know, you're calm and happy on the boat, and that to be on a boat in the water means that you have support and protection through what you're going through, either by God. God can be the boat, or your ancestors can be the boat, because boats are very occult, symbolically very important in the Bible as well. The boat is symbolic of faith and God, and who you put your trust in. So whenever the Bible is talking about the fishermen on the water and talking about the boats in the water, God is actually talking about people having to deal with emotional or stressful situations, like when they turned, when Jesus turned the fish into multiple fish, and when there were no fish, and then they caught all the fish, and the parable of the storm with the fishermen, and Jesus was asleep, and the fishermen were saying, um, aren't you scared, like, we're going to drown and blah, blah, blah. And Jesus was just like, have faith. And then, like, the storm calmed down. That is all occult symbology of being faced with emotional turbulence and trials and being told to have faith when it involves water and a boat or a rock or an island. If you are in the middle of water and you are in something that is stopping you from touching that water, it means that it is to do with like you've been put through a test of faith. And obviously, if you jump in the water or you fall in the water, it means that you're going to be asked to deal with something where you're going to be asked to take a leap of faith, but to trust that your intuition and your instincts will guide you, like like a flying without wings kind of thing. Jump off and see if you can fly, and if you can fly, then you're on to big things. And if you fall in the water, then there's things that you're having to delve deep into, things that you're having to clear out and wash out and purify yourself, especially if it's salt water, because obviously, the oceans are the largest expanse of water that there is. So in dreams, when you're dealing about oceans, you're dealing about emotions that are going to be having an effect on every aspect of your life, from your relationships to your job to your faith, that sort of thing. And just because, like, say, for example, you get stung by a stingray or bitten by a shark, as long as you're not eaten, which would mean you're allowing your emotions to consume you, you're overly emotional, you're allowing the situation to get the better of you, and it's drowning you emotionally, it's taking you to the depths of your emotions. It's because you're not dealing with either childhood traumas or past life trauma or something karmic that needs to be looked at, and you're refusing to do it. And so it's going to be basically what pulls you down and consumes you and ends up eating away at your mind, which is when, if you're going through an ascension, that's when it starts turning into the air sign of your ascension, because air is communication and thought and psychology. So you will always find that one will always creep into the other. One element will always start creeping into the other just before the turn, just before the break. And when you break from one element to the other, when you go from the water stage of your ascension to the air stage of your ascension, that's when you're being encouraged to speak up, to think about what you're saying, to think about what you're doing, and to put it all out there, to start communicating. Write your book, start your story, tell your story, turn it into a movie, turn it into a game, that sort of thing. So, yeah, so that's what water means. Obviously, cold water means cold, hard truth, having to deal with a cold, hard truth. Hot water can mean that you're in trouble of letting your emotions get away with you, or um, needing to control your temper. Um, if it's hot water thrown on you, it's somebody who needs to learn to control their temper with you. So, yeah, so you must always pay attention to every aspect of your dream. Um, how you were feeling, what building you were in, the weather, how the animals were acting, what the trees were doing. All of these things are really, really important, because they're placed there like a movie set to help you watch the movie of your life, so that you can figure out and navigate where to go. So always pay attention to your dreams, especially the weather. If you were in a building, like, like your location, and what the behavior of the animals and plants, especially if they're in your dream. If there's any buildings in your dream, They need to be, and because see, buildings and dreams, I should probably do that for a second one. I'll do that for a second one.